What's up, my friends? My name's iirix. Today, doing a video on something that I used to do. Stopped doing it for whatever reason, but it's been a while since I went, so I figured let's do it again and check it out. Check out the new set. Last night I went to a draft for Shadows over Innistrad, and I am here to talk about my deck, the picks, and kind of just like give some information about people who they've never drafted before, completely new to the game, and just kind of explain like mistakes I've made where you guys can hopefully learn from it and don't do the same things that I did, because mistakes are just not fun. I mean, you misplay and you sit there and you just got to deal with it because it's all on you. So I still have my deck here. I put the sideboard away. It was not important. It was the only thing worth mentioning out of the sideboard was getting 2 of the rare dual lands. That's it. I played everything else worth mentioning, but today's deck, bam! Played through. I sat down at the table. This was my first draft for Shadows over Innistrad. Sat down and I'm thinking, I don't know much about the set, and while I'm sitting there just kind of trying to figure it out, I'm thinking about what my buddy told me, and he said, don't draft blue-black zombies. Is he being serious? Was he being sarcastic? Like, oh, it's insane and everybody does it. I don't know. But that's tip 1 I want to give you guys, because I talked to him after the card selection was done, whatever you want to call it, the drafting process, I suppose, as we were deck building, and he comes over and he's like, how'd you do? I'm like, bant, you know. I was like, I would have done blue-black, but I wasn't sure if you were serious or not. And he's like, I get that kind of, one of those things, and just, like, I didn't know if he was serious or not. The thing is, he clarified for me after we were done picking our cards, and what he told me was that blue-black zombies is a good deck. The problem is, it's either, I don't remember what he said, it's either very commonly chosen, so it's hard to get cards for it, or the cards that you need don't come up as often as they should, whether somebody's choosing them or not. I don't remember which one he told me. But apparently blue-black zombies looking good if you can get the cards. I think he said that it was a very difficult deck to build because you need just, like, you can't force it. It just has to come to you. And if you happen to get blue-black zombies, great. But if you try to force it, you'll almost always fail. I think that's kind of how he was saying it. I don't remember, because I was busy focusing on what I'm going to do with this, as I call it, a just big old pile of bant mess. People asked, don't mind me, I'm just going to clean up my desk a little bit while I do this. I got dirty fingers. I don't want to smear them all over my playmat, even though I'm now rolling it up with my dirty fingers. From what I've heard, it's real good, but a lot of things are really good in the set. So there's a big plus for people who have not drafted it yet. Now, granted, this is my one and only draft for Shadows over Innistrad. So take what you want from this video. But I did go and I played. It was kind of just a mishmash of things. I should have done this beforehand. But I'm going to pull out the rares and the key cards that are not rare that really, really did it for me, and why. One of the first things I'd like to point out is, while a lot of people thought that, well, not a lot of people, but the few people I talked to last night, a lot of them said that the clue tokens, the investigate mechanic, does not look like it could be any good. Their first impressions were this is going to be dull, it's going to be boring, it's going to kind of be like, meh. The thing is, it actually turned out to be really good, really fun, and while I didn't have a giant mess of clue tokens like some people drafting Tamio's Journal, it was enough for me to go, okay, you know, I like this. It's kind of one of those things where, especially if you play with a lot of instants in your deck, at the end of the opponent's turn, if they didn't do anything to make you play one of those instants, then, you know, you kind of had those land open for nothing. It's kind of a waste. But with clues down, with the little clue tokens, makes it a little bit better because now you can sacrifice them at the end of their turn with any unused mana. It's really nice. If you try to push your clues, depending on what you have, like a Tireless Tracker, or, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, the green instant that, you know, you investigate and then a creature gets +1/+1 for every clue token you have. If you're trying to push it, yeah, that's one thing. But if you don't have anything that the number of clues or when they get sacrificed, if you don't have anything that's really going to make a difference, then just hold on to them until after you have open mana that's going to go just unused. And that's when I felt it was really good and really really important to use them. So the rares I got that I played, we got Tireless Tracker, Inexorable Blob, and Startled Awake. The thing is, the Blob, I got the token one time. For those of you who don't know, it's 2 and a green for 3/3 Delirium. When it attacks, you get a 3/3 Ooze token into play tapped and attacking. This was okay. I didn't have Delirium every time I had it in play, but it's still 3 mana for a 3/3. So it's fair. It's not something to laugh at. But if you can get Delirium, obviously that much better. Next, we have Tireless Tracker. It was a card that when I drafted it, I'd heard about it. I heard good things, but I looked at it and kind of went, I don't know. In the end, I took it because I was playing green. This was my, I pulled this out of my third pack. I'm playing green anyway, so I figured I'd take it. For 2 and a green, you get a 3/2. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on Tireless Tracker. This was really cool. And my deck was mostly white-blue with a splash of green for, I mean, these two. I mean, that's the only reason I played green. I opened 2 green rare cards. I'm like, well, shit, the Ooze is all right, or the Blob is all right. And then I get this pack 3. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah. Sure, let's do it. So I didn't have any of the power-ups that work with the clues. Otherwise, this guy would have been huge, but it's okay. You know, by himself, he's just fine because every time you play land, you get a clue token. And that was really nice because my deck, 40 cards, I had 18 lands. So I played lands fairly frequently. You know, some people draft with 16, some with 18. It's very rare to see anybody go below 16 or above 18. 16 to 18 is the happy point. And if you want to play the exact 33%, like a lot of players do, 17 lands is where to be. I've learned from experience I cannot do that. My luck is always shitty, so I always do 18 in my drafts. But with all those lands coming down, getting those clue tokens, very nice. I liked it a lot. And I think I got him up to a 5/4 at one point, which was pretty nice. Again, 3 mana for a 3/2 by himself, pretty fair. So, you know, just like the Blob. My third card was actually Mythic that was passed to me. The guy who passed it took Heir of Falconwrath, I believe it's called. The black discard card, flip it into a 3/2 flying. He passed me this, and I took this, obviously, because mill 13 in draft. I mean, it's a 40-card deck. Your opening hand is 7 cards. It costs 4 mana, so let's say you play it as soon as possible. Well, chances are the opponent has already gone and drawn 11 or 12 cards. You play this, there's 25 cards off their deck, you know. And I did get this to go off. I did get it to play 3 times in one game. The thing that sucked about it is I got it to go once, and I was like, yes, perfect, I love it. And then in the graveyard, I brought it back into play transformed, and then it hit, I get it back in hand. He countered it. I'm like, all right, fine, so whatever, it's back in the graveyard. I already have the mana, we know this. At this point in the game, I think I had enough to do both effects in the same turn, but, I mean, the creature, the flip side, and it's a blue sleeve. I'm not going to take it out, my fingers are all greasy and dirty. And I'm too lazy to wash. When you do this, you can attack with it, and I got it in play again, attacked with it, back in hand. He countered it again, but this time he countered it with, I don't know the name, it counters a sorcery, and I think Delirium, exile it, and then you can search the opponent's deck for any cards with the same name, deck and hand with any cards for any cards with the same name, and you can remove them from the game as well. So obviously it's a mythic. I only got one. It'd be very rare to get two of the same mythic, but yeah, just the one. And it was actually really nice. I played it, I think, all 3 rounds, at least once, and it did not really, it didn't have the impact, but it was nice because it put a timer on them, and I did it every time I could, and I didn't have anything else to play. I did use it, and it was nice to see that the in draft, you know, you don't get a lot of threats. It was nice to see that I'd always mill away a couple fairly good threats that I did not want to deal with on the battlefield. So those are the rares and the mythic. Next, I'm going to take a look at some of the uncommons and commons. I looked at Angelic Purge. It's 2 and white for a sorcery, additional cost, sacrifice a permanent, exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment. At first, I was like, well, sacrifice a permanent, but it's good removal. It exiles target artifact, creature, or enchantment. I didn't care so much about enchantment. I didn't care so much about artifact. The creature part was very nice. And I will swear by this card. Anybody playing white, you pick this card. Excuse me. Whether you like this card or not, I swear by it. Pick it. Because, here's the thing. If you're working on Delirium, this is a sorcery. Sacrifice a land as the additional cost. There's 2 cards for Delirium. You're already 50% of the way there, assuming your grave is empty. Well, what if, I mean, it's later on in the game. You probably already have a creature in there too. You know, that was my main move, and this almost always got me Delirium by sacrificing a land. If I didn't need Delirium, or I really needed my lands, you know what else you can sacrifice? A clue token. Clue token. Excellent choice for this. Hey, you know what triggers? Tireless Tracker, because he doesn't care how it got sacrificed, as long as whenever you sacrifice a clue, you get a +1 counter. So I don't know how many times I'd have Tireless Tracker in play, sacrifice a clue for this bad boy, exile his creature. He had, one game, one of my opponents had creatures that they did things, I don't remember what, because I'm forgetful, they did things if they went from play to the graveyard. Well, since I exiled it, whatever, man, I don't care. So I took it out, and it was no big deal. The next one I want to talk about is Spectral Shepherd. I did end up drafting a lot of spirits, so this was a very nice card because for a blue and 1, you can return a spirit to your hand. And I like that a lot because it says return a spirit, not return target spirit, not return another spirit. You know, so it's really nice because he can do himself. And if you draft a lot of spirits, which if you play white-blue, not hard to do. Spectral Shepherd, good way to go. I got 2 of them, and they're uncommon. They're pretty nice. And then, whoop, dropping it. Then my third common pick have to be this guy. He's 5 for 3/3 flying flash spirit. So, you know, very nice. I like it a lot. And it didn't do a lot, but the flash was nice when I needed it and I had the mana up because I also had some counter spells, and it worked out rather nice, actually. So, round one, I played against a guy who had red-green werewolves. It was a very strong deck because, I guess, when people draft the flip cards, you can either be the dick that tries to screw it up, but then you kind of screw your own draft because you know at least one other person's trying to get the werewolves. But if nobody bothers and you're the only one, very solid deck. Very, very solid. It was very tough for me to battle with. We actually finished game 3, and right as we finished it, like, the timer went off. I mean, it took 45 minutes. 45, 50 minutes? I think they do 50 minutes, actually. So we almost went to time on it, but I won in 3. Round 2, I played against the guy who got black-red vampires. He's the guy sitting right next to me. He stopped me from drafting black-red vampires like I wanted. And his deck just destroyed me. He got a good, solid black-red vampire deck, and my deck didn't have shit for it. It was just so fast. It was so good. And then round 3, I played against a kid who was playing blue-green, random stuff. It didn't seem to have a theme at all, just blue and green. I mean, mine didn't have much of a theme other than spirits. My round 2 player was, what'd I just say? Vampires. Round 1 was werewolves. So round 3, we're both 1-1. He didn't really have a theme other than blue and green. But that's okay. You don't have to draft themes, you know. It's just sometimes the themes, you know, pay off in a way. But, yeah, it was a good draft. It was successful for me in a way. I got 3rd place. I went 2-1. And it was pretty nice because I didn't draft anything super valuable. I mean, I got lucky with Tireless Tracker. I think right now is like $6. Starter Awake is like $4. And then I got past 2 of the rare lands at, what are they, like $4 each? I think all of them are $4 right now. So very good, very successful draft. The main thing I want you to take away from this is this is based on my friend telling me, not my experience. So don't give me some backlash on it, because I'm just kind of repeating what he said. Blue Black Zombies is good, but you have to have a solid deck. You have to get a lot of good picks. You cannot force it. Black Red Vampires, very aggressive, because Black and Red have probably the best removal in this set. I do like the what was it? Angelic Purge. Pretty nice. But Black and Red probably have the best removal. So Vampires, very good card, or very good deck type. Black Red Vampire, good card. The Werewolves don't do unless, you know, you can get as many as possible. What really helps is I think it's Gyre Reach Bandit. When he transforms, his flipped version, whenever something comes into play, you can immediately transform it. Very nice, very aggressive. That card screwed me over game 2 in the first round, and it did get me. He got in play on the third game in round 1, but it was not as successful because he got kind of mana screwed. So I felt bad, but then I remembered he was kind of aggressive with it and then all cocky about it. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, all right. If I don't care, you stuck on 3 land. But you know, that's personal things. That's not good sportsmanship of me. Not so much on his part either, but not important. So the main thing I would say to take away from this, you can draft garbage. You can be successful. You need to be careful about what you put in your deck, though. My deck is full of flyers, and that was the main theme, was flyers. It happened to also be spirits, and very nice. You can play just about anything and it will work, but you obviously need to make sure you get removal and your bombs and evasive creatures, and you'll be okay. Not a lot of people drafting the rare lands because I guess they're not super high priority for value. So if you're like me and you're looking to pick those up, do it. Go for it. They're easy to get, because I got 2, and then I ended up trading away a card I got that I didn't play for Port Town. So, you know, pretty nice, pretty happy with that. But yeah, this video went on a lot longer than I want to. I'm about to hit 18 minutes. For those of you who stuck around, thank you. I really appreciate it. I do know I have some newer players that kind of watch my videos, and that's the whole point of this. So if you got friends that you know are just inexperienced, coming back to the game, brand new players, anything, you know, share my videos with them, because I plan on doing this every time I can go to a draft and every time I can go to a standard tournament. That was one of my plans way back when I started the channel, but it kind of fell through. But yeah, I'll try to keep them at about 10 minutes. And yeah, I plan on doing a video on every draft and standard tournament I go to. So if that's something that you guys would be interested in, leave a like down below. Maybe a suggestion, like if you want to see my whole deck, because I only talked about like 6 cards in here. But I thought maybe for this video it'd be better, instead of the deck and me talking and then just staring at the playmat for who knows how long. I mean, I could edit it, but I figured, you know, this would work out better. So maybe any suggestions, I'm open to that. You know, I'm not gonna shoot you down for any criticism. But yeah, subscribe to the channel if you want to hear some more stuff like this. Because, you know, some people, they like newer players, they would want to go to a draft. It's $15 to get in most places. Maybe some will do 12 or 16 or whatever. I wouldn't pay if they were charging more than 15, but that's me. But yeah, newer players who don't want to spend the money because they don't think they'll do very good, and you know, they think that because of their inexperience they won't do well. This is what these videos are going to be about, and I'm going to highlight some common cards in every video that you should focus on getting, and I'll give examples as to why. I would have to say for this draft, the highlight was definitely Angelic Purge. I got 2 of them, I believe. pretty sure I just got 2, not 3. But it's a very nice card, and yes, it's a sorcery, and it costs 3, and you sacrifice a permanent, but it exiles an artifact, creature, or enchantment. And exiling a creature, very, very nice. And remember, you just have to sacrifice any permanent, so it could be a land, it could be a clue token. Those would be my biggest recommendations. And sacrificing a land would probably be nice, or maybe an enchantment or whatever, if that would trigger Delirium. So there's always that to look at. So anyway, going on long. I'll try not to do this. I'll try to keep them at about 10 minutes. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time.